Welcome to IT Learn 360. In this career path video, we will follow one connected network security case at Summit Fresh Logistics. A warehouse controller shows unusual outbound traffic. A shared vendor VPN has much broader access than it should, and warehouse scanners are intermittently losing access to the inventory application. We will use that situation to connect networking foundations, segmentation, firewalls, zero trust access, packet analysis, cloud networking, automation, incident response, and portfolio evidence. The goal is not to memorize security products. It is to learn how a network security engineer traces a business connection, secures it, monitors it, and recovers it when something goes wrong. To start, we need to understand why the role is much bigger than managing firewall rules. A network security engineer protects the complete path between users, devices, applications, cloud workloads, and outside partners. That includes secure architecture, hybrid routing, segmentation, remote access, firewall policy, SASE or SSE controls, IDS and IPS, telemetry, troubleshooting, and recovery. At Summit Fresh, the engineer cannot simply block the suspicious vendor traffic and walk away, because warehouse scanners still need to reach the inventory system, and the business must keep operating. Every control has to be connected to the path it protects and the impact it may create. That is why the role is best understood as tracing, securing, monitoring, and recovering business connectivity. With that responsibility in mind, we can now look at the Summit Fresh case that will connect the rest of the roadmap. Summit Fresh Logistics gives us a realistic problem because security and availability are happening at the same time. A refrigeration controller is generating unusual outbound traffic. A shared vendor VPN account can reach too much of the warehouse network. At the same time, scanners used by warehouse staff intermittently fail to reach the cloud inventory application. The engineer must reduce the security risk without creating a larger operational outage. That means identifying what traffic is expected, who should have access, where the path is failing, and what evidence supports a containment decision. Instead of treating these as three unrelated tickets, we will connect them into one investigation. The first step is to trace the business connection from the scanner all the way to the application and back. Before changing a security rule, trace the complete traffic path. For the warehouse scanner, identify the source VLAN, destination application, DNS lookup, routing decision, NAT behavior, firewall inspection, cloud path, load balancer, application endpoint, and return route. A complaint such as "the network is down" becomes much easier to test when the path is explicit. Does DNS return the expected address? Is the route present? Is translation correct? Does the firewall allow the session? Is the return path symmetric? At Summit Fresh, this path also helps separate the scanner outage from the suspicious vendor session, so we do not solve one problem by making another worse. To reason about that path confidently, the engineer needs a set of networking foundations that are directly connected to traffic behavior. Network security foundations matter because they explain where traffic changes, fails, or violates policy. You need enough Ethernet and MAC knowledge to understand local delivery, enough IPv4 and IPv6 addressing to reason about subnets, enough VLAN knowledge to understand segmentation, and enough routing knowledge to follow a packet between networks. Services such as DNS, DHCP, NTP, and NAT also matter because they change how systems locate and reach each other. At the application layer, HTTP, HTTPS, TLS, load balancing, and basic quality of service behavior help explain why a connection may look healthy at one layer and still fail at another. The goal is not memorization. The goal is being able to explain the path. Once you can do that, troubleshooting becomes a disciplined process instead of a sequence of guesses. One of the most dangerous habits in network security is adding a firewall rule before proving what is broken. A broad rule may temporarily restore connectivity while hiding a DNS, routing, NAT, or application problem. It may also widen the attack surface. A better sequence is to scope the impact, validate DNS, check routing and NAT, review firewall sessions, capture packets when necessary, and compare recent changes. At Summit Fresh, that sequence helps the engineer determine whether scanner failures are caused by security policy or by something else in the path. It also protects the investigation from becoming a collection of permanent exceptions. Once the immediate traffic problem is understood, the next question is architectural. Which systems belong together? Which systems should be separated? And where policy should actually be enforced? Segmentation starts with an accurate map of the environment. Summit Fresh has corporate users, warehouse scanners, refrigeration controllers, vendor access, and a cloud inventory application. The diagram should show both the intended connectivity and the connectivity that actually exists. That difference is important because the risky finding in this case is that the vendor path can reach too many controller assets. If the team only documents the design they hope to build, they may miss the exposure that exists in production. Mapping the zones gives the engineer a way to identify trust boundaries, required business flows, administrative paths, and unexpected reachability. With the zones visible, segmentation can move from a diagramming exercise to enforceable policy that limits the blast radius of a compromised account or device. A VLAN by itself is not a complete security boundary. Segmentation becomes meaningful when policy is enforced between zones and the allowed traffic is tested. Corporate users, scanners, controllers, guest wireless, management systems, cloud workloads, and the internet should not all have the same reachability. At Summit Fresh, scanners may need access to an inventory API, while controllers may need a much smaller set of approved connections. Administrative access should be logged, temporary exceptions should expire, and every permitted flow should have a reason. This reduces the damage a compromised vendor account or infected device can cause. The Summit Fresh case also shows that segmentation alone is not enough if external access still arrives through a shared identity. That leads directly to the vendor VPN problem and the move toward more accountable access. The shared vendor VPN creates several problems at once. One account represents multiple people, access is broad, accountability is weak, and revocation is difficult. A stronger design uses named identities, multi-factor authentication, approved device posture, application-specific access, and time-bounded session logging. This is the practical idea behind zero trust access. Trust is not granted simply because a user connected to the network. Access depends on identity, device, application, and approved purpose. For Summit Fresh, the goal is not to remove vendor support. The goal is to give the vendor exactly the access needed for the approved maintenance task and no more. Once that access model is clear, the firewall and policy rules supporting it should also be designed from evidence instead of from convenience. A good firewall rule should be explainable from the business need all the way to validation. If a warehouse scanner must update inventory, document the source, destination, service, route, return path, owner, logging requirement, and review date. Then test the connection and confirm the application actually works. This prevents vague rules such as any source, any destination, any service, or a temporary rule that becomes permanent. At Summit Fresh, evidence-based rules help the team restore scanner access without reopening the broad vendor path. They also make later reviews much easier because the reason for the rule is preserved. Modern firewalls can add application awareness, identity, IPS, URL controls, and TLS inspection, but those features only help when the team understands their operational trade-offs. Next-generation firewall capabilities are valuable, but they're not automatically effective controls. Application identification can support policy by application. User identification can make rules identity-aware. IPS can block known attack patterns. URL and DNS controls can restrict risky destinations. TLS inspection can improve visibility, but it also introduces privacy, certificate, and operational considerations. Threat intelligence adds context, but it still needs validation. The important point is that a feature becomes a control only when it is configured, monitored, tested, and owned. At Summit Fresh, turning on a capability without understanding how it affects warehouse traffic could create a new outage. That same operating judgment is needed when choosing how remote users, partners, and sites should connect to the environment. Remote access is no longer one simple VPN pattern. Site-to-site VPNs connect trusted networks. Remote access VPNs give users a tunnel into the network. ZTNA can connect a user directly to an approved application. SSE delivers security controls from a cloud service, while SASE combines networking and security service edge capabilities. The correct choice depends on who the users are, which applications they need, what devices they use, where traffic must travel, and which team owns operations. At Summit Fresh, a shared network-level vendor tunnel is clearly a poor fit for a maintenance task that should be narrow and attributable. Whatever access pattern is selected, the team needs telemetry so it can prove who connected, what they reached, what policy was applied, and whether the behavior was normal. Network security depends on multiple signal sources working together. Firewall and VPN logs show policy and session details. DNS and DHCP records help connect names, addresses, and devices. NetFlow or IPFix can show communication patterns and volume. Proxy, ZTNA, Cloudflow logs, and packet captures provide additional context. During the Summit Fresh investigation, the engineer should correlate source, destination, time, authentication, policy, traffic volume, and expected behavior rather than relying on one alert. That correlation helps answer whether the vendor session was legitimate maintenance, a compromised account, or something else. Dashboards are useful for finding patterns, but sometimes the investigation requires proof at the packet level. That is where packet analysis and IDS or IPS evidence become essential. When the exact behavior of a connection is unclear, Wireshark or TCP dump can show what actually crossed the wire. Packet analysis can reveal handshake failures, DNS problems, TLS negotiation issues, retransmissions, resets, and asymmetric paths. IDS can detect suspicious traffic passively, while IPS can block traffic in line, but both require tuning and operational judgment. An aggressive IPS rule can stop an attack, but it can also interrupt legitimate warehouse traffic if it is poorly tested. For Summit Fresh, packet evidence helps separate the scanner connectivity issue from the suspicious controller traffic and supports a safer containment decision. Modern environments also extend beyond the traditional data center, so the same reasoning must follow traffic into cloud networks and into IPv6 paths that teams may not be watching closely. Hybrid network security requires the engineer to follow policy across on-premises, transit connections, cloud VPCs or VNets, load balancers, Kubernetes environments, and application services. In the cloud, review security groups, network ACLs, routes, private endpoints, and flow logs. At the same time, do not assume IPv6 is irrelevant. Router advertisements, AAAA records, firewall rules, and monitoring visibility can create a second path that receives less attention than IPv4. Summit Fresh's inventory application may be healthy in the cloud, while the on-premises return path, security group, or DNS behavior creates the failure. The key lesson is that security policy has to cover every route the business actually uses. Because hybrid environments are complex, automation can help, but only when it preserves review, validation, and rollback. Automation should reduce repetitive errors without removing human judgment from risky changes. Useful examples include detecting expired rules, comparing configurations, identifying drift, and creating standard objects from approved templates. A safe workflow still includes request, review, testing, deployment, validation, and recertification. The team should not automate broad, unreviewed rules, hide credentials inside scripts, or make changes without a rollback path. At Summit Fresh, automation could identify vendor exceptions that should have expired, or compare firewall configurations before and after the incident. The purpose is to make good policy repeatable, not to make unsafe changes faster. With the architecture, access model, telemetry, and automation practices in place, we can now return to the original alert and walk through the investigation as a network security engineer. The Summit Fresh investigation begins by verifying the timestamp and identifying the vendor session associated with the unusual controller traffic. Next, review the active policy, authentication evidence, DNS activity, and the network path. Capture traffic if needed to confirm what the controller and vendor session are actually doing. Then restrict access in a way that contains the risk without destroying evidence or blocking required warehouse operations. In parallel, restore the approved scanner path to the inventory application and validate it from the user's perspective. The sequence matters because containment without understanding can create a larger outage, while troubleshooting without security awareness can leave the exposure open. Once service is stable and the risk is controlled, the work is not finished. The post-incident review should improve the design so the same weakness is less likely to return. Recovery has two goals: restore the approved business path and leave the network safer than it was before the incident. Immediately, confirm scanners can reach the inventory application and monitor the suspicious traffic for recurrence. Then, address the design weaknesses by replacing shared vendor access, separating controllers from scanner networks, and tightening the required flows. The operating process should also improve. Review similar partner connections, document ownership, test failover, and make sure temporary exceptions have expiration and review dates. The strongest incident response does more than close a ticket. It creates better evidence, clearer ownership, and safer defaults. That kind of work is also what employers look for when they interview network security candidates. So the next slide translates the technical roadmap into realistic job market search terms. When you look at the U.S. job market, use job board counts as directional signals rather than official vacancy totals. The slide captures a LinkedIn search snapshot from August 2nd, 2026, and also reminds us that job boards contain duplicates, staffing posts, and adjacent roles. More useful than one count is the pattern of titles you should search: network security engineer, firewall engineer, ZTNA engineer, SASE engineer, cloud network security engineer, network security analyst, and security engineer with a network focus. Read several postings and compare the recurring skills to your own evidence. The objective is not to chase every tool listed in every job. It is to identify the capabilities that repeat and build projects that let you explain those capabilities credibly. That is where the IT Learn 360 case study artifacts become useful. The Summit Fresh case can be turned into portfolio evidence instead of remaining a slide deck. Build a hybrid network diagram, a packet flow worksheet, a firewall policy review, a vendor access redesign, and a Wireshark or IDS lab. Add an incident recovery report that explains what you observed, what you changed, how you validated the result, and what design improvement you recommended. You can also include a cloud connectivity map, a small automation script, interview questions, and resume positioning notes based on work you actually performed. The goal is not to claim production experience you do not have. The goal is to make your reasoning visible. Once those artifacts are connected, the final learning path becomes straightforward. Build depth, practice investigation, document evidence, and match that evidence to the role you are targeting. A practical network security engineer path is built in layers. Strengthen networking depth first, then build a firewall lab, practice packet analysis, trace a cloud path, redesign vendor access, automate a small review task, and run an incident response scenario. Finish by packaging the evidence into a portfolio you can explain. There is no fixed timeline that guarantees readiness because people start with different backgrounds and target different roles. A better measure is whether you can build, break, troubleshoot, secure, document, and explain the environment in front of you. If an interviewer gives you a packet flow problem or asks why a firewall rule is safe, your project evidence should support the answer. That is the end of the Summit Fresh case and the core of this IT Learn 360 network security engineer career path.